Hey, what's up? This is going to be another Android Studio tutorial on graphing. In this one I'm going to show you how to dynamically add data to a scatter plot. So I'm going to do a little demo here. Just going to add like the point 55 and I don't know, -10, hit add point. You can see the point gets added. Now I'm going to add a second point, say 40 and I don't know, 20, and add point. So you can see they're getting added to the graph as I hit the add point button. Alright, the first thing, if this is your first time watching one of my plotting tutorials, is you want to go to the GraphView page to get the library. And you just go to getting started, and you just grab this dependency, go back to your app. Oh no, I don't need that. What am I doing? Go to your app, Gradle file, and stick it down here and sync. Once we've done that, I'm just going to throw a quick layout in here. Alright, we're done with that. Close it. Next, we're going to create a small class that's going to help us organize the data points better. It's going to be called XY value, and if you've watched any of my other videos, I use this class to hold data points in a lot of my graphing tutorials. Pretty straightforward class, just stores X and Y and has getter and setter methods. Now we're going to go back to main activity and we'll start writing the code. First thing, as always, is get your log, then declare all your variables. So we have our points graph series, which is going to hold the data points that we add to the graph. We have a button to add the points, 2 text fields to hold the values, and the graph itself, we'll call it scatter plot, and then your array list of XY value objects. Next, we declare all of our variables in the onCreate method. If you notice here, I actually left one out. I didn't declare this one yet. Well, actually I didn't declare that one, but this is the important one, XY series, and I'll talk about that in a minute here. I'm going to create a method here called init just to keep things organized better, and then create that method here. And here's where I'm going to declare the XY series object. I put it inside of init because I need init to run every time I add a new point. If you don't put it inside init and you put it up here, the app will fail. So we're sticking it down there in the init method. Now we can create our onClick listener for the add point button. And we'll do a little bit of error handling here, just because if we hit the add point button and there's no values in the text fields, that could cause problems. So we'll handle that exception by using just a simple if statement, sorry. And if there's not text in the edit text fields, then we just want to tell the user to add text to it. And I'll make this little toast method down at the bottom here. I use this in a lot of my tutorials. So if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll be very familiar with this. It's just an easy way to print out a toast. Now we're going to go back inside of our if statement here and get the values from the text fields and then add them to our XY value array. So there's our X and our Y that we get from the text fields. We parse a string to a double. Then we're going to log it just so we know what points we're adding in the log. Then finally add the points to the XY value array. Okay, below our button we got to do a little bit more of exception handling because we don't want the graph to try and create a plot when there's no data. So we can handle that with just a simple if statement. So if the XY value array size doesn't equal 0, we will create our scatter plot, and if it isn't, we can just log it and say there's no data. So now we can create this method. Get our log in here first. Now we're going to use a for loop to get the data from the XY value array and put it into our XY series array. So this array right here. Oh, I actually forgot one very important step before that. Before we can add it to the series, if any of you are familiar with the GraphView library, you remember that the X values have to be in ascending order. If they're not in ascending order, the app will crash. So we're going to need to create a method here that will sort the array before it adds it to the series. So we'll take our XY value array and we'll sort it with a method called sortArray. I'll make that method right now. It's the same method I use in my other scatterplot tutorial. It's so just straight up copy it. It'll take the array and it'll spit out an array that's sorted. Alright, there's our sort array method. If you're interested in watching it sort, you can just uncomment these fields right here. Although I wouldn't recommend doing it if you're not going to watch the log because it slows down the app a lot. So now we'll go back up to our for loop and populate our XY series. We'll do a little bit more exception handling here. We're going to need to use an illegal argument exception because if for some reason my perfect algorithm fails, which it never would, this will prevent the app from crashing when it tries to add the X value in non-ascending order. So we'll just get our X and get our Y from the XY value array and then finally we'll append the data to the series. Okay, we're almost done. Just going to set a few properties and then append the data to the graph. So I'm not going to explain this. I think I explained it in my other scatterplot tutorial. So setting simple properties like scalable, scrollable, setting the X and Y bounds, so like the view window, and then at the bottom we will append the series, and that's it. Let's run it. Okay, here it is. Let's see if it runs the first time. I hate that keyboard. And just throw in like a 5 there, add the point. Doesn't look, oh, I forgot to put the init. That's what I did. So that's why we need that init right there, so that when we add a point it refreshes the graph. So we'll try running again. Never runs the first time, ever. It's like a rule. Okay, let's try it again. Add 0.5 and 10. Yay! Alright, try another one. 55 and 10. And let's try a negative value just to see. Looks good. If this video was helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.